at 3. And the frisky will be better than you think Patriots at 4. Brew, did the Bills deserve to be AFC East favorites?
Deserve, sure. I mean, look, they've won it the last 4 years.
Sure.
They have the best quarterback in the division. The other franchises, save the Patriots, who are bad right now, have been pretty much historically bad, at least the last few decades. All right. Yeah. So that's fine. But on paper, the best team in the division is the Jets.
Oh,
on paper, if like Nick says, if everybody
it is true.
It
is true.
Say that in basketball.
Everybody's
not
healthy,
in football, when it never is the case. But go ahead.
I mean, if everybody's healthy, the Jets are the best team. They won 7 games last year with the worst quarterback play in the league. They beat Buffalo. They beat Philadelphia. They beat Houston with the worst quarterback play in the league. If Rodgers is just solid with these weapons? You ever heard of Garrett Wilson?
Garrett
you ever
Wilson's
heard of
excellent.
Mike Williams?
Well, I mean, his orthopedist.
He's darn near excellent when he's healthy.
Okay.
Brees Hall.
Darn near excellent.
I mean, come on. They got weapons,
okay,
man.
hold on. Jets fans are going to get mad at me. Whatever. Brees Hall's fine. Brees Hall's fine. Yeah. He was awesome the
fine
first half dozen games of his career.
Right, a fine running back might run for 1,200 yards.
Okay, well, Brees Hall last year didn't manage 1,000.
Well,
the Jets tried to game the final game of the season to get him to 1,000. In addition to being poorly coached, they're poor at math, and he ended up missing out on it. They're like, somebody screwed up the abacus.
How are they poor? And I'm not saying that Saleh is Vince Lombardi.
Okay.
How are they poorly coached when they won 7 games and beat the teams I just mentioned with Zach Wilson at quarterback?
Listen, I am this weird guy who believes the coach's stat is wins. I know you don't. Do you think it's
but I need some players.
Okay, I get it. My point is,
I need a QB.
I don't know how to evaluate Robert Saleh other than the coaching staff he fills out. I'm unimpressed by. I don't think Nat Hackett's an inspiring offensive coordinator.
Okay, but that's so annoying because the Nat Hackett was there because of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Saleh had all that much say in that regard, okay? And I'm not necessarily saying that I'm a big Robert Saleh fan here, but he hasn't had a quarterback. They have not had a quarterback. Zach Wilson is a bust. There's no question about that. No question about that. One of the biggest mistakes they made is that they weren't able to get the most out of Joe Flacco, which then Joe Flacco ended up, relatively speaking, balling out for the Cleveland Browns. So you could say, hey, that's kind of an indictment. But they did win some games, and they almost beat the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, with no quarterback. So the Jets can play. There is a lot of undue hate on them, and so that I agree with Brew that if Aaron Rodgers is just solid, is just a pretty good quarterback, then the Jets will be a good team. They would have beaten the Chiefs. They would have beaten all these teams. They would have made the playoffs with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. You can't doubt that. You really want to tell me that Aaron Rodgers isn't worth at least 3 wins over Zach Wilson, who I think was statistically the worst quarterback in the league or second to worst? I mean, come on. What are we saying here? If you can't agree with that, then I just think that means then you just hate Aaron Rodgers, which I don't necessarily blame you, or hate the Jets, which I guess I also don't necessarily blame you. I'm not necessarily a huge super Aaron Rodgers fan. Like I feel like doing this is making it sound like I'm an Aaron Rodgers homer of some sort, and I'm really not. There's a lot of things that I don't like about Aaron, but I try to be as consistent as I can and as completely unbiased as I can be. And the truth is that I really do believe Aaron will make a full recovery. And I think Aaron Rodgers will, I don't want to say ball out. It might be too strong of a word, but he's going to do everything he can to ball out. He does not want to end his career the way how it ended just in the Jets or even with the last season with the Packers. He wants to rise to the occasion. He wants to show the world, I am Aaron. I am him. Enough of this nonsense. You all thought that I wasn't here anymore, and I never left. Don't call it a comeback. Been here for years. So that's what I really think. And yes, the Jets are a fragile team, right? It's a bunch of Humpty Dumptys on the wall, I mean, at any moment, they could have a great fall. I get it. I really, really do. And so that you do have that fragility. And that is a big question mark. But I think Buffalo and the Jets will have it'll be a fight to the end, not unlike the Cowboys and the Eagles this past season. I think it'll be a fight to the end. I think the Jets can definitely win it, and I think it all depends on what Buffalo does. If Buffalo doesn't get a true number one wide receiver for Josh Allen, then that'll just be a disgrace. And even Kurt Warner said that. It's just a disgrace. Because, you a quarterback as good as Josh Allen, you have to get him a legitimate wide receiver. It's just absurd. So I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if there's any other more moves for them to make. If they got someone in the draft, what their plan is, no idea. But if they don't improve that much, then I absolutely think that if the Jets stay healthy, they can get in. Because they should also have an easier schedule this season as well. They have a non-playoff, schedule here. So I think the Jets are absolutely in the potential to surprise a lot of people. I really do.
Their choice is game management, which I'm
Aaron Rodgers.
wildly unimpressed by. And then his win-loss record, which is bottom 10 in the modern era of coaches who have gotten this many games. Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm glad you keep focusing on quarterback. Because I know this will shock people, I'm not the biggest Buffalo Bills fan. Oh. I'm not the biggest Josh Allen fan. But I agree with what you said. He is clearly the best quarterback in the division. I bet every other division favorite that you would pick has the best quarterback in that division. Every single one. Brew, who do you like in the AFC North this year?
He's going to get
Baltimore. Who's and you? Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, and CJ
But that doesn't
Houston.
mean, I don't know,
and
let's
Mahomes.
go to the NFC.
Yeah, let's go to it. Who do you like in the NFC East this year? Philly.
I like Philly.
Okay, who's
There's
the best
an
quarterback?
argument, though.
No, but
last year, Dak was Jalen on the MVP ballots?
No, and by the way,
but
Dallas,
Dak was closer than
and they won the division. So, but you think Jalen's better, and you think the NFC?
I think it's
the
NFC
pretty
close,
South. Brew, who do you like this year?
NFC South.
I know
like
who you're
Atlanta.
Okay, who's the best quarterback?
NFC
West.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna get him.
Why?
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
NFC West.
Yeah.
Who do I like?
You like the Niners and Brock. Exactly.
Yeah. And he's better than Matthew Stafford?
You think he is?
No,
That's why you like him.
Is he better than Matthew
No,
Stafford?
and I like the Rams more than the Niners, buddy.
You like the Rams? Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So my point, I think, here's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
I think Brew's a closet Jets fan.
Oh, yeah.
I think
I keep it real.
Listen,
I just keep it real.
Because you're doing something for the Jets you wouldn't do for any other team, which is...
That's nonsense. Because all those other teams are also good and complete and have either good coaching, other good players, or the quarterback play, there's such a drop-off. Like, what are we talking about? Daniel Jones, Sam Howell, whatever the heck his name is for the Commanders? Like, that's just an insane thing. So his example, him thinking that that's a trump card, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense because what happens if what if you gave I'm going to get you now, Nick, right? What if you gave Justin Herbert the 49ers team, the entire 49ers roster, okay? Who do you think would be better, the Chiefs or the Chargers with that 49ers roster? If you don't say the Chargers, you're delusional because they would have a better team. And even if you don't think Justin Herbert's the most amazing quarterback, they're still pretty darn good. He's better than Brock Purdy. And if that's the case, in that division, who do you think's the better quarterback? Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes? Well, you're probably going to say Patrick Mahomes. Who do you think's going to win that division? Well, how could the Chiefs win that division with that roster and that quarterback? And Harbaugh is the head coach. Exactly. So his whole argument doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. It sounds good in theory, but it's nonsense when you actually look at it a little bit more deeply.
Say, despite the fact that they clearly don't have the best quarterback in the division, and despite the fact that they clearly don't have the best coach in the division, I'll pick them to win it anyway.
But it's the roster.
But Brew, that roster
if
that we're
the
talking
quarterback
about,
is pretty good,
right?
He's a good quarterback.
But we're talking, Brew, like Miami is dismissed entirely from this conversation. But if I came on here and said weapons, we want to talk weapons, Miami would have that.
We know what Miami's problem is.
What the Jets' problem is everything. It's history. It's everything.
It's health.
It's
too much pop.
Just a health issue?
What else is it? What's the other than health? What's the problem? History doesn't matter. I mean, Bills haven't had a great history recently.
I mean, okay, go
have
ahead.
they? I mean, health. All that doesn't matter. The history. Okay. I'm talking about right now. What have you done for me?
Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I understand technically what Nick Wright is saying, and I get how you can make the argument against the Jets. But again, like I often say, the way how he's making that argument and reaching that conclusion, to me, makes no sense. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think? Do you think the Bills deserve to be the divisional favorites? And do you think the Jets can actually win the division and make some moves come time playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.